Day 5 of New England Patriots training camp, and it was definitely one for the books. Pads go on today, but not just that. We have another fight. We have some drama going on. There is a lot to get into here with Day 5, so let's just break down today's video. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Colby, also known as Patriots Global, back here with another video. On your way in, guys, please make sure you are subscribed to the channel for all of your New England Patriots news. This is your one-stop shop for everything involving your New England Patriots. If you guys want to go that extra mile to support the channel, go ahead and check out some of the products below from Fanatics. When you guys do purchase them, I make a small commission off of it. So, again, if you're going to buy a Drake May jersey or another Patriots jersey anyway, might as well do it with the link in the description box below. But anyway, let's just hop into today's recap. So starting here with guys that were absent, not participating: Kendrick Bourne, David Andrews, Matthew Judon, Christian Barmore, Sione Takitaki, Marte Mapu. For the most part, this is the same list as it usually is. Now, David Andrews was present yesterday for practice, so him not being there today, I would assume it's an excused absence or it's just a Veterans Day. David Andrews, at this point in his career, he kind of deals with some injury problems. So they might just say, well, it's going to be more of a physical day with being the first day of pads. There's no point in throwing you out there in the fire. Just take a Veterans Day. Obviously, Christian Barmore, he's dealing with his blood clots. We'll break that down here pretty shortly in another video. Obviously, prayers up to him. He won't be here for the foreseeable future. The biggest one, though, today, Matthew Judon, and that's where a lot of the drama is circulating. I'm not going to get into it too much because we'd be here for far too long. I'm going to break this down in its own video, but all of a sudden, Matthew Judon just not practicing. He's officially holding in. Now, is this going to be a multi-day thing? We don't know, but it's very, very strange for somebody like Matthew Judon, who just a few days ago said how he wasn't happy with how he handled his contract displeasures last year when he was holding in during Patriots training camp, and how he felt, basically just disgusting, and it was just immature of him, for lack of better words, and yet again, he's doing it. So there's a lot to break down about that situation. Like I said, we're going to do that in another video, but at least for today, all you need to know: Matthew Judon holding in during Patriots practice. Clearly, things with his contract situation are not going very well. As for guys that returned, nobody. It's pretty much the same list like I mentioned. Davon Godchaux was limited today. He's kind of doing a little bit of a hold-in. It's kind of weird. Now, Drew Rosenhaus was present. That is the agent for Davon Godchaux. Davon Godchaux was present. He was practicing, but there were certain times where he was on the sidelines not participating. So it's not a full hold-in, but it's like a semi-hold-in. But again, with Drew Rosenhaus being there today, his agent, we might hear something about his contract in the near future. Like I mentioned, today was a full padded practice. This was the first one for the Patriots so far, so it was a little bit more ramped up. Josh Uche at one point actually got tossed out of practice for getting into a fight with Chooks Okorafor. They don't know who threw the first punch, but it seemed like it got pretty intense. Josh Uche was done for the day. Now, Jabril Peppers had to get checked out during practice. He actually left during practice with a noticeable limp in his left leg. He did later on return, but it seemed like it was something that was bugging him. Now, this is something that happened day 1 or day 2 of practice with Jabril Peppers. It was the same thing with his leg. Reportedly, it was just cramps, so we don't know if it's the same thing, if it's just cramps bothering him, or if there's an actual injury problem going on. But the fact that he returned to practice at the very least is a good sign. Now, like I said a little bit earlier too, Drew Rosenhaus was present. That is Davon Godchaux's agent. He was seen having a conversation with Elliott Wolf, Matt Groh, and Robin Glazier. So clearly, they're talking about something involving his contract. And then Matthew Judon, a little bit more about him. He did have an animated conversation today with Elliott Wolf and Matt Groh. Not just that, we saw him also having an animated conversation with Gerard Mayo too. So again, a lot of questions going on with both of these defensive linemen and but Matthew Judon and Davon Godchaux as they are holding out with their contract displeasures. But moving on here to the quarterbacks. So And 11 on 11s today, Jacoby Brissett was 8 for 9. Drake May was 1 for 5. Joe Milton was 4 for 5. And Bailey Zappi was 3 for 4. In 7 on 7s, Jacoby Brissett was 4 for 6. Drake May was 2 for 6. Overall, this was the best day that we've seen so far from Jacoby Brissett. Lots of deep completions from him today, just making the reads that were correct, making the reads that we're giving to him, and just being everything that has been advertised really throughout his entire career, and really ever since the Patriots signed him as this veteran mentor quarterback / bridge quarterback. So definitely the best day we've seen from Jacoby Brissett so far. As you can see with the quarterback order, it did switch up yet again. Jacoby Brissett, Drake May, it's the same 1-2 punch there, but Joe Milton hops Bailey Zappi yet again to take those quarterback 3 reps. Yesterday, Bailey Zappi had taken back those quarterback 3 reps, and it seems like he's now back to being quarterback 4. So I think that this is a real competition. I know that everybody wants to talk about quarterback 1 between Jacoby Brissett and Drake May, but there is a real battle on who the quarterback 3 is going to be. Is it Joe Milton? Is it Bailey Zappi? I think, Gerard Mayo and Elliott Wolf, they're really trying to get both of these guys opportunities to see who is the better option to keep on the active roster. But moving on here, I know that a lot of people are going to kind of hear those statistics about Drake May and say, wow, he really struggled today. And he didn't look great from what was reported, but he didn't look as bad as the stats say. From what was reported, it sounds like Drake May was working a lot with the second team and the third team wide receivers, and a lot of those guys were dropping passes. I'm not too sure why they're doing that with Drake May. If you're trying to have a true competition between Drake May and Jacoby Brissett, why are you not giving them the same supporting cast? Most importantly, if Drake May is your future and you're talking about playing him this upcoming season in some type of capacity and maybe even playing him week 1, why are you not giving him reps with the starters, with the starting offense, with the starting wide receivers, the starting running backs, the starting tight ends to build that chemistry and build that continuity? I'm just not sure. I'm not a big fan of that. It really doesn't matter him repping with guys that are either going to be on the practice squad or just aren't going to be on the New England Patriots come roster cutdowns. But moving on to the running backs here, both Antonio Gibson and Kevin Harris ripped off good runs in 11 on 11s. Harris actually was reported to have a couple of good runs. Overall, just reported a good day for the Patriots run game. Kevin Harris having a fairly good camp so far, but this isn't the end all be all. JaMycal Hasty has also had really, really good practices in training camp, really good practices in spring too. So there's a real competition for that third running back spot. And I think right now the real battle is between Kevin Harris and JaMycal Hasty. And that's something that we are definitely going to have to watch closer and closer. But moving on here to the wide receivers, Javon Baker had a drop today, but he did not let that get to him. Javon Baker with yet again another day. It just seems like every day that continues to go on throughout practice, Javon Baker is getting more and more and more comfortable in the Patriots offense. It just seems like every day so far in training camp over the last few days, he has had some type of highlight catch. Today, he hauled in a deep ball from Jacoby Brissett over Alex Austin and Jalen Hawkins. Excellent video. If you guys want to check that out on the Patriots Instagram, he was basically able to just jump up, grab the ball in between 2 defenders in a really good contested catch situation, being everything that was advertised from him coming out of college. And he's made a lot of these types of plays. He's especially made a lot of plays over the shoulder, tough grabs where he has to make adjustments. And he actually credited that to him being a former baseball player and being able to kind of make those adjustments and those over the shoulder catches. So far, Javon Baker really, really showing out. But Tyquan Thornton also had a pretty good day today, beat Marco Wilson for a deep completion in 11 on 11s. That ball was from Jacoby Brissett. Then later on, Tyquan Thornton had another deep grab from Jacoby Brissett on a go route versus Alex Austin. So Tyquan Thornton, not a lot of people talking about him, but he's still rolling with the Patriots starting offense. Moving on to these tight ends, though, drops today. Mitchell Wilcox with 2 and LaMichael Petway with 1. Now we're going to get over to the offensive line here. First team O-line, Caden Wallace still repping in at left tackle, City So at left guard, Nick Leverett at center with David Andrews being out, Michael Emino at right guard, and Chuks Okorafor over at right tackle. From what was said, Leverett looked really, really good at center in the absence of David Andrews. Now, he's been repping as the Patriots' second center whenever David Andrews has been out, or even when David Andrews is here. The guy that is getting second team reps behind Andrews is Nick Leverett. Had a really, really good day today from what was reported. Caden Wallace over on the left side too. I mean, for a guy that played right tackle in college and the Patriots switched back to right tackle here late during spring practices, early in training camp, it was said that he looked really, really good at left tackle today and won a lot of his one-on-one matchups. And then as for Chukwuekorfor over on the right side, supposedly he's struggling. And that surprises me because it feels like when Chukwuekorfor was playing left tackle in training camp and in spring practices, we didn't hear really anything bad about him. He was pretty silent, and that's kind of what you want from an offensive lineman. But since he switched over to the right side, that's where he seems like he's struggling a little bit more. And that's what's so confusing to me, is because he hasn't played left tackle since college. His time in the NFL with the Pittsburgh Steelers has all been playing right tackle. You think that that would be second nature for him, but so far, since switching back over to that right side the last couple of days, he is struggling quite a bit. The offense as a whole had multiple false starts today, a lot of those coming with the offensive line. Now, the O-line did held up a little bit better today in team drills than what we've seen over the last few practices. Michael Onwenu winning all of his one-on-one reps against Josh Uche. Caden Wallace, like I mentioned, looking really good in those one-on-ones. He actually won all of his reps versus Anthony Jennings, Keon White, and John Morgan. Layden Robinson also looking really, really good. The rookie guard had a strong win versus Dietrich Wise in one-on-ones, which says a lot. But the Antonio Mafi kind of experiment at center still is not working out. And I think at this point, at best, Antonio Mafi is going to be a practice squad candidate. Just because he's not looking good. He didn't look great at guard, looked too inconsistent last year. And so far, with them trying him at center, he has looked absolutely awful. He had another botched snap with Joe Milton at quarterback. But before we continue on today's video, let's listen to the sponsor of today's video. Hey guys, sorry to cut the video real quick, but I had a very important question that I had to ask you. And that is, have you ever Googled yourself, or maybe a friend, or maybe a family member Googled themselves and saw their private information being used? Maybe like their name, their phone number, their social security number, their address, maybe their credit card information. God knows I have. And the only reason that I was able to find that and take care of it was because of today's sponsor over at Aura. So what Aura is an identity protection service. And what they do is they go ahead for you so you don't got to do the hard work, and they scour the internet for any of your information being used illegally that you didn't want them to use. The other great part is that they'll monitor your credit. They'll see if your phone number is being used to robocallers, which if you don't know what those guys are, they're essentially the ones that call you about 5 times a day. Because little do you know, these data brokers are actually trying to sell your information to robocallers, to spammers who are trying to find out your own personal information, such as where you live. So what Aura will do is they'll essentially send you an email or notification saying that, hey, someone's trying to use your phone number. Someone's trying to access this information about you. Do you want us to delete it from the web? Fortunately, in today's society, a lot of threats that we all face on a day-to-day basis come online. And unfortunately, the scary part is that we can't always see it. Aura's going to come in, protect you, protect your family from threats that we can't see and we don't even know are coming. So hey, look, you guys can go right ahead and let people exploit your own private information, or you can go to the link in the description box below and pinned in the comment section below to go ahead and sign up for your 14-day free trial over at Aura. But guys, let's move on over to the defense. And first day of pads really wasn't too much to talk about here with the defense, at least from what was reported. As for the defensive line, guys who got pressured today, O'Shane Zimenez really, really shining here for the first day of pads. And I guess from what was said, he's been a guy that's quietly been creaking up here a little bit. He had 2 quarterback pressures, run stuffs today, Jeremiah Farms. Now, Jeremiah Farms has kind of been the Patriots' second backup nose tackle behind Davon Godchaux. If his contract is to take a left turn or he demands a trade or something like that, the guy that would immediately step up into that role would be Jeremiah Farms. He's someone who, if he can make a good showing in the preseason and stay healthy, I think he's somebody that definitely could make the Patriots 53-man roster. Dietrich Wise today, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, did beat Chooks Okorafor cleanly in one-on-ones. And then Armand Watts struggling today in his one-on-ones. He actually lost all of his one-on-one reps today. He's a guy that I think was a low-key good signing for the Patriots this offseason. And with the news about Davon Godchaux currently and with the news about Christian Barmore, the Patriots are really in need of some interior defensive linemen. And Armand Watts, between his ability to stop the run and rush the passer, the Patriots could really, really, really need him to take a big step forward. Again, if Christian Barmore and Dietrich, or not Dietrich Wise, but Christian Barmore and Davon Godchaux, their situations take, again, a left turn. As for defensive backs, though, only news we got today was Kyle Duggar having an interception. Yet again, another interception from Kyle Duggar. He's been having also a really, really good training camp so far. But guys, this is where I kick it to you. What are your thoughts? First day of pads, day 5 of New England Patriots training camp. Let me know in the comment section below. Make sure you guys check out the other 5 days that we recapped so far of New England Patriots training camp, so that you get an idea of how these guys are performing and the tendencies that are building themselves in Patriots training camp. But as always, I appreciate you all so much for watching. Most importantly, never forget, go Pats.